Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I have a quick protective style tutorial for you guys. I'm going to show you guys how I do my knotless braids using the crochet method. This is just a quick and easy way to just get your hair out of the way. I wanted something I could use for at least 2 or 3 weeks, and yeah, mind you, I'm not an expert at this, so take what you see and enjoy.
Ryan Little.
Okay, you guys, so I am starting off with freshly washed hair. Just a side note, my hair is relaxed. I don't have, natural hair. So yeah, I'm starting off by parting my hair into 2 sections. So one at the very top of my head, parting from ear to ear, and then the bottom section of my hair. This makes parting a lot easier, especially if you're not 100% good at freehand parting. This is the best way that you can just section off your parts and make sure that they're equal, even though mine didn't turn out equal, but you get the gist. So I'm going to start off with doing some parts at the back of my head. I started off with 2, I believe, at the nape. I believe that place is called the nape. It's a nape, the nape of my head. Ignore my crooked parts. Okay, we already know I can't part straight to save my life, so ignore that. But anyway, I'm starting off with 2 parts. I'm going to be using the brick layering method, I believe. If you know what that is, it means you're just layering your parts on top of each other in a brick type formation. That means they're not sitting directly on top of each other, they're slightly off of each other. So when you part your hair, you're just going to braid it down a little bit, not too much, maybe like halfway. Now to keep my flyaways or those tiny hairs in place, I'm just using a little bit of gel. You can use more gel than I use, but I've never been one to put a lot of gel on my hair. I just don't like the feeling of it. So I'm using a little bit of gel and some hair cream before I braid the parts down. Feel free to use whatever it is you think can hold your hair down, but for me, gel and hair cream does the job. This process took me about, I want to say it took me like 5 minutes to do. It doesn't take that much time. It's not time consuming at all. So when you get closer to the top of your head, your part is going to start going in like a U shape. So what you're going to do is make sure that your parts go in a U shape. Like when you get to the top of your head, it's going to get smaller, like your parting space is going to get smaller, if that makes sense, or the sections of hair you have will get smaller. So as you will see very soon, I started off with 2 parts at the bottom, very bottom of my head, and when I get towards the middle where that particular section ends, I'm going to end with 2 parts as well. Okay, so for the front of my hair, I'm just going to start off with defining where my middle part would be. And when you get to the front part of your hair, this is where you just use your I wouldn't say use your imagination, but just use your discretion to decide how big or how small you want your sections to be. This is because everybody's face is different. The types of parts that fit everybody's face is different. So use your just eyeball what fits you. So for me, I was doing this my sectioning in a way that I will be able to open my hair in the middle and also have an option of doing the side part as well. So yeah, that's what I was basically trying to achieve. And then I was also trying to make sure that the parts were a little bit smaller because the hair at the top of my head is pretty dense. I have pretty thick hair at the top of my head, so I needed the parts to be a lot smaller than what I had in the back. So for each row, for each side of my my head, I believe I had 3 rows of braids, and I think I had a total of either 7 or 8 in total. And when you're also closer to your hairline, when you're making the parts closer to your hairline, you want to be careful to make sure that you're not braiding backwards. You want to kind of push the braid a little bit forward. So now we're just going to do what we did on this side to the other side, and we're good to go. So now that I'm done with my struggle parts, very much a struggle, we can move on to the braiding side. Braiding section. So when you're doing these braids, first of all, I started off with the front of my head because I didn't want to get tired if I start from the back. So what you're going to do is try to crochet your extensions, attachments in like a cross formation, and then you want to just braid away. I don't really know how to explain what I did, but essentially I crocheted the attachment like a cross, and then I just laid one side, I joined one side together and then just started braiding in. Then I started to slowly feed in the braid. The reason why I did this is because I made a mistake I thought that oh shit. I'm so horrible at explaining things. The reason why I was feeding in the braid is I realized that my hair was a lot thicker than the attachment that I had crocheted in, so I had to start feeding it in to cover up my hair and so that the braids would not look wonky. As you can see, some of the other ones I did before have this crooked type shape. So yeah, that's because I made the mistake of not putting in enough attachment to cover up my hair. I underestimated the thickness of my hair. Okay, so you can see clearly in the front here, I'm taking my first bit of attachment and I'm just going to crochet that straight vertically, and then I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to crochet that in horizontally. So when you do that, you're just going to take one piece, usually the smaller piece, and overlap them, and that leaves you with 3 pieces of braiding hair. And then you're just going to start to braid down, but usually you would start with the section that has your natural hair in it, and then you just braid down. Pretty easy, pretty simple. And then you have the option of feeding in. If you don't want to feed in, you can continue straight down, and that's it. There's really nothing extra to this hairstyle. That's pretty much it. So I'm just going to do this a few more times so that you guys can really grasp the technique that I was using. And yeah. So as you can see, this braid is actually a lot more straight compared to the other braids that I did, because I started to feed in the braid a lot earlier. So it's pretty straight compared to the other braids that I did. And there's the crisscross shape again. Take one in vertically, and then take the other in horizontally, so you are forming a cross. So just as a side note, just to mention, this technique is really good if you're tender-headed and your scalp tends to, pain you a lot. This hairstyle is really low tension, so you barely even feel it when you are braiding your hair, and even after you've braided your hair, you barely feel it. So it's really good if you have a sensitive scalp, or if you're just not used to really tight hair. This method will be really, 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 really good for you. Okay, so now that I'm done braiding the hair, I'm just going to go ahead and try and trim some of those flyaways or small hairs on the braid. I absolutely hate this part, but it's very necessary. So you're just going to go around and trim the strands of hair that you have, anything flying away, anything not in its place, trim it down. But be careful to make sure that you are not, trimming off your hair. I also try to make sure you don't actually cut the braid, because I almost cut one of my braids. See the concentration. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay my edges. If you know, you know. If you're not using a toothbrush for your edges, you're not doing anything right. So go ahead, argue with your ancestors, but the toothbrush is always way forward. And please, before anybody shouts that I haven't put the hair in hot water, I'm going to do that. Don't worry. I was just excited to do my edges, so that's why I did it before I put my hair in hot water. But I'm going to go ahead and put... Ooh, look at me finessing. Interesting. So while I was waiting for the water to get hot, I got impatient and I decided to put some beads in my hair. So I had some old beads sitting around. This is very optional. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. And I decided to just bead my hair and then trim some more. I don't know what I was trimming there, but I decided to trim some more. And then finally, I'm going to get some hot water and a cloth and just try to dampen the hair so that the attachment can loosen up a little bit. And so that it has a clean and shiny finish. I absolutely hate this part. I don't like hot things close to my face. But yeah, after that, I am pretty much done. My hair is ready for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next video.